Your brain performs a continuous silent trick to keep you sane. It actively filters out the constant thud of your own heartbeat. Subject 004, Kal-El, lacks this basic biological luxury. His eardrums are not standard biological membranes. They function as multidimensional vibratory plates, sensitive across the entire acoustic and electromagnetic spectrum. Because of this anatomy, his everyday reality is like standing in the middle of an endlessly crowded stadium. His absolute quietest environment is a cacophony of global noise. Every waking second, he processes the grinding friction of tectonic plates miles underground, right alongside the individual beating hearts of 8 billion human beings. Compared to a stable human baseline, his brain receives a violently spiking stream of roughly 400 terabytes of raw auditory data per second. Absorbing this sheer volume of unrefined sensory input would cause immediate, fatal neural failure. How does a living organism operate inside the loudest environment in the universe without his conscious mind dissolving into the noise? This wireframe schematic highlights the subconscious auditory governor. This node in the prefrontal cortex functions as a pulsing noise gate, blocking incoming signal waves. Through hyperselective focus, his mind discards 99.9% of reality, pushing the chaos of the planet into a subperceptual hum. To keep this internal filter anchored, he relies on specific familiar frequencies, tuning into the heartbeat of a loved one or a metropolis siren to physically ground his perception. Operating a massive cognitive filter like this requires a staggering amount of constant metabolic and psychological energy to maintain. He is never actually at rest. His existence is a continuous, exhausting burn of energy, entirely dedicated to manufacturing a single second of silence. This mechanical process carries an immense moral weight. He can clearly hear a child's cry for help from 3,000 miles away, in real time. He is trapped in a God-complex paradox. He possesses the sensory data to save everyone, but remains bound by linear time to save only a few. The resulting condition is persistent compassion fatigue. For every single person he chooses to save, he must actively and consciously ignore thousands of others dying at that exact moment. The true cost of his power lies in the agonizing necessity of building a rigid psychological wall around his own empathy just to function. Forensically, we have to ask, what happens if that internal wall finally breaks? We simulated a filter collapse, an event triggered by a localized high-frequency sonic weapon or an episode of extreme emotional trauma fracturing his mental focus. This sensory flood hits the conscious mind with the unfiltered impact of 8 billion screams, the roar of oceanic tides, and global industrial noise all at once. The medical consequence is a neurological shutdown, resulting in a catatonic state or a permanent psychotic break. Forensic analysis points to a specific failure point, being forced to listen to the world exactly as it is. Subject 004 survives because his mind is a masterpiece of cognitive endurance. He wakes up every day and actively chooses to endure the agonizing, crushing noise of humanity, just to retain the ability to pull one more person out of the fire. If you had to carry the weight of every sound on Earth, would you possess the strength to stand your ground, or would you flee just to find a second of quiet? Superman is simply the title for a mind that has decided the deafening pain of the world is worth listening to.